It's not part of our thematic area yesterday on agriculture, education, health, community networks, disaster mitigation. But I think it was asked to be presented. Maybe it can play a role on jump starting the gaps that's needed to push Open RAN in the Philippines. So we named the network Ion Lab, Innovation Open Networks Lab. So the current situation, there are various initiatives or R&D or other labs in the country that is doing their own thing. So maybe if we can get enough collaborators, maybe we can do more if we move together. So what we want to address, maybe there's a collaboration that can happen somewhere with the different efforts that we have, both from government, from academe, from private sector, and the other research institutes, both here and abroad. So take note, we're still brainstorming this thing. And of course, for those interested, we invite you to collaborate if you're interested. There's been a lot of labs in ASTI that were set up since its inception in the late 1980s. And usually the laboratories in ASTI are driven first and foremost by an employee in ASTI that is interested to do that kind of thing. And usually when the lead or the employee leaves, sometimes somebody picks it up, sometimes the laboratory dies. So there has to be someone that leads it, there has to be passion. And second, of course, there has to be funding. So right now, our idea, maybe we can do benchmarking. So this is where possibly Open RAN can collaborate with us. If there are new hardware that can be tested in ASTI, possibly lent to us by vendors that are interested. Proof of concepts on deployment. Maybe ASTI can do a proof of a concept. Maybe Philip is interested. But since we're still lobbying for spectrum, part of the discussion is Globe is actually interested in sharing their possible proof of concept with regards to their Open RAN study. Okay. Then, of course, documentation of use cases and possibly link different groups together if they can collaborate in terms of experiments, computing, internet operations tools, systems, and applications. So we highlight systems since Open RAN is fairly flexible. There's a big role for programmers to help, not just the transmission guys. So right now these are just bullet points. We can add more depending on the need. Next. Okay, next. Next. Okay, so we laid this discussion points as a guide in case nobody wants to, talk and give their ideas. Will it be government-led, not just ASTI-led? Will it be government-led? ASTI collaborate with DICT, collaborate with NTC and other government entities that are interested. A lot were listed on the slides of the presenters before me. Will it be academe-led, university? Will it be industry-led? Or right now, I think the Open RAN group is fairly distributed between private. The IORA group is fairly distributed between private sector interest, university, academic interest, and government and private sector. So that's for IORA. For the lab, we're thinking what would make sense. Okay. What R&D topics can be pursued? Of course, wireless or Open RAN is one of ASTI's interests. Of course, it doesn't stop with the test bed. It has to be deployed to make an impact in the lives of the Filipinos and hopefully some useful policy can come out of the test cases that are done within the lab. So a lot of possible policies were highlighted by the presenters before me on agriculture, on disaster risk mitigation. So, and on the technology part, we've been belaboring the point since yesterday on spectrum allocation. So hopefully we can influence the people, on top to move towards the solutions that we want. And with this is lower cost of deployment of networks, both wired and wireless. Okay, in terms of the lab, will it be physical? Will it be virtual? During the discussion, there was emphasis on virtual laboratories simply because 2 years of lockdown has taught us that online meetings work. Sometimes we need to meet face-to-face, but to do things quickly, sometimes online gatherings are much more quicker. So if there's a virtual test bed, an online test bed, maybe that is easier to share the laboratory services with other entities that wants to use its service. Budget constraints, unless we're able to find a lot of funding, budget constraints dictates that the lab focuses on open standards technology, simply because proprietary solutions usually require licensing fees. Of course, we're open to vendors that would like to, lend us their hardware or donate their hardware free of charge. So that's on the hardware side. On the software, preferably free, non-proprietary software, unless somebody donates proprietary software for free. Of course, commodity off-the-shelf hardware would be the emphasis. That's for the generic laboratory services. Of course, with RAN, mostly it's proprietary with Open RAN. Next slide. In terms of funding, DOST within us is funding within our organization in DOST is an obvious path. Then ASTI has pushed projects in the past through partnerships with different entities, both local and foreign. We usually get a lot of help in kind. Of course, foreign funded projects is an obvious choice. Usually there's more money abroad. Okay. In terms of workforce development, ASTI is no stranger to attrition of people. Usually we get the fresh graduates, they train and get a lot of experience and knowledge in ASTI, then they move to the private sector. That's the life cycle of the staff in our office. So perhaps the lab can be aided by internship activities or on-the-job training from current students. And that's for younger ones who might need the lab and learn something from it. In terms of the experienced ones, ASTI doesn't have a good track record in terms of getting highly technical consultants and their high salaries, their fees. So usually we get a lot of mentorships that's from friends, free of charge. Next slide. Okay, so hopefully this lab can be used for Open RAN activities. The other things that we're thinking of doing in this lab is, of course, network automation, measurement, visualization, software-defined networks. We focus on these topics in terms of network maintenance because we maintain a science network and we're usually short on staff. So the motivation of automation is usually when we scale the network, it becomes difficult to maintain. We work on a lean operations team. and sometimes response times to partners suffer because of that. So hopefully with some kind of automation overlay, there's better documentation and better response time. Overall, better network operations for our network. So that's the selfish goal of us with regards to this laboratory that we're thinking about. Of course, we're willing to share it with the Open RAD movement in the Philippines if we can help on that.